In this lesson, we're going to talk about credit scores and credit reports. Now, you may have never heard these words before, but get ready because you will. Remember, we talked about whenever you hear the word credit, that means debt. So when you hear the words credit score or credit report, those things are basically ways to measure the debt you have. So a good credit report or a high credit score doesn't mean you're winning with money. Basically, your credit score really is an I love debt score. So, why do you need a credit score or credit report? Well, they're mostly used when you borrow more money or go into more debt. The bank will check your credit report, and if you have a good score, they'll give you the loan. But if you have a bad score, they won't give you a loan. But that doesn't really matter for you guys because you're not going to go into debt, right? Now, the crazy thing is, you could inherit $10 million today from your long-lost Aunt Rita, and your credit score won't change. So remember, a good credit report or a high credit score doesn't mean you have a lot of money or that you're good with money. It just means you have debt. You'll find more information about credit scores, credit reports, and the consumer credit law in your student text. Be sure to check it out.
Today, I'm going to be talking with students about credit. Let's see what they know. What is a credit score?
I have no idea.
What do you think it means?
How much credit you spend in a month?
It's like where the credit you owe goes into or something.
How did you learn that?
Just made up something really quick.
You just made up something really quick. I like that. Have you ever heard of the term credit score?
Yes.
What does it relate to?
Credit cards or like whatever you want to buy, like a car. It just depends on how good it is, if you're eligible to buy the thing or not.
Do you have any plans to get a credit card one day?
I do.
You do? You're very confident about this?
Yes.
Why do you want to get a credit card?
Just to spend money.
Oh, you want to spend the money, huh?
Because the whole world is switching over to credit card.
You don't want to be left behind?
No.
And why would you get a credit card?
As an alternative for money, I guess.
I have to buy things.
You have to buy things. Well, that's an answer. Would you ever want to get a credit card?
Probably not,
Why?
because you spend more with plastic than you do with paper.
Very nice. Who taught you that?
Dave Ramsey.
When it comes to credit reports and credit scores, you will hear a lot of people giving you some bad advice. That sounds something a little bit like this. You need to take out a small credit card or a secure loan to build up your credit score. They are so wrong. The reality is that a credit score is actually an I love debt score, and it's not a measure of you winning financially. You may have heard of one of the companies that calculate credit scores. It's called FICO score. It's just one type of credit score. When you look at the actual breakdown of what goes into figuring out the credit score, you will be blown away. Now listen, I love pizza, and I mean I love it a lot. So let's use this beautiful sausage, pepperoni pizza, to break down the percentages of what makes up a credit score. It looks something like this. First, 35% of this is your debt payment history. This is a record of all your payments made on time and all the payments you have missed. Next, 30% of this is your debt level. This is how much debt you have right now. Then you have 15%. That is the length of your debt history. This is how many years you've had debt and made payments on time. Then there is 10%, and this shows your new debt. This is how much new debt you have taken on recently. And finally, the last 10% is the type of debt you have. It's getting kind of heavy here. This includes all the different types of debt you might have, such as, say, a car loan, student loans, credit cards, and secured loans. Do you see the theme here? As you can see, everything related to your credit score is tied to debt. Either debt you already have, debt you've had in the past, or debt you could take on in the future. It's all about debt. Real heavy debt. Did you know that if someone were to hand you $1 million tomorrow to put in your bank account, it would not change your credit score at all? That's insane. So wait a minute. If a credit score doesn't care about how much money we have or earn, then a credit score doesn't mean we are actually winning in life. It simply means that we use debt, and a lot of it. Now, I don't like debt. Actually, I can't stand debt. but I sure do love me some pizza, especially some sausage, pepperoni. Whew. Good old pizza. Glad. Bye.
As you can see, I am not a fan of debt. In fact, my family lost everything, almost even our house, because my parents went into so much debt. My dad borrowed a lot of money from different banks in our city. And without going into too much boring detail, all the banks at once wanted their money back. My parents didn't have the money to give them. They tried as hard as they could to get the money back to the banks, but they ended up short. There were even people calling our house at 11 o'clock at night asking for the money. Now, this is illegal. There are legal ways for people to try to get their money back, but some of the techniques they use are illegal. And they all kind of make sense if you think about the right way to treat people. My parents did everything they could, but at the end of the day, they just didn't have the money. So they had to file for bankruptcy. And it was really hard around our house for a while because we didn't have a lot of money. But my parents worked hard and turned things around. So now my dad and I travel all across America sharing this story and telling people how they can live a life without debt. Now, if you are in debt, there's 5 ways to get out. Number 1, quit borrowing more money. Number 2, you must save money. Number 3, sell some stuff. If you get some extra cash, that can help pay off debt. Number 4, find some extra work to do. And number 5, use the debt snowball. And this is a method to pay off your debt, smallest amount to largest amount. So staying out of debt is the best possible plan, and living debt-free is the best way to live your life.